What's up, everybody? This is Sam coming to you with the first YouTube video on the YouTube channel. As I talked about, I decided that I would do it over the belt kit. There's not a whole lot of information out on these for some reason. I'm not really sure why. On YouTube and other places, it's probably one of the most asked about things since I started using them a year to a year and a half ago. Everyone kind of has asked me about it. Everyone's asked me to do videos over it. I've done some posts and stuff like that in the past. But I wanted to give a general breakdown as well as a review over it. So to start with, this is my second one. My first one, if you go back in the backlogs of the Instagram page, was in multicam. I bought it as a generic turnkey option. Actually not from Velsyst Systems themselves, because at the time they were quoting like they were hard on the 6 to 15 week lead time for them. That's since changed. I got mine, like this whole kit, in like a week and a half at the first of this year. There's been another uptick in them, so they may be a little bit backlogged. Obviously I'm not guaranteeing any lead times. Purchased it from Nelson Uniform as a turnkey option. NelsonUniform.com. Good people. They don't know me. They took care of me. I had some issues with the first one. Something got lost in shipping, and they made it all right. But they actually still have some in stock. I checked today. If it's something that, as far as the kit goes and the size goes and the colorway goes, you can get it. It's a tiny bit cheaper than Velsyst, but you'll get it in about 3 days versus 2 weeks. With that being said, I started with the multicam one. It was a generic 556 GP option, which they have several options. That's the 4 total 556 mag pouches, 2 canteen pouches, 2 GP pouches on the belt and the harness. So I went with that because it's the only one that was in stock, and being an American, I didn't really want to wait on the timelines for Velsyst Systems to do anything different, because I originally wanted a butt pack option, and they didn't have it in stock at Nelson. But they were the only game in town. I thought, hey, I really want to get into this. I sold off everything. My goal was to get to the belt kit, and I wanted it. So that's what I did. It was a good experience. It taught me some things that I needed to learn about belt kit, as well as how I wanted to set it up, and some of the issues I was having with some of the items from Velsyst. For what it's worth, it's Velsyst Systems. I shortened it to Velsyst because everyone else does, and it's a whole lot easier. Anyways, so the multicam one, used it for a long time, changed a bunch of stuff in and out of it. That's all over the Instagram. I sold it to a friend to purchase this one. This is a by piece option from Velsyst. You can't buy this as a generic turnkey option. I pieced this out. Not everything on here is from Velsyst Systems, and I'll go through that in a minute. So one thing I want to note, because everyone asks about some of the nuances of the pouches. We'll start with the butt pack. I have a butt pack. I've been using it for the last couple weeks. Took it out in the field. The last pictures I posted from the field, I was actually using the butt pack. I equally love and hate the butt pack. It's a little on the large sides, even compared to the GP. The GP pouches set a little bit wider, but they're narrower, so they hug the body a little bit better, and because they articulate in the center, right here, as opposed to being one piece in the center, they hug the body a little bit better. So while you can carry just about the same amount of stuff, it sits to the body a little bit better. It's a little bit more streamlined, and I personally kind of like that. The butt pack holds a ton. About the only thing I can carry in the butt pack, if I load out the butt pack instead of the butt pack in one GP pouch, is I can carry a full set of warming layers in this in like a max sack compressed down, as well as a rifle maintenance kit. You have to sacrifice some things. The maintenance kit went to the ruck lid, because I carry some maintenance stuff on my rifle, and as far as warming layers go, I just went ahead and stuck with some snivel gear in the GP pouch and kept the warming layers along with my field kit in the ruck. So you have to make some sacrifices here and there. The biggest issue I've had with any of the pouches is the 556 mag pouches, and I'm sure the 762s are the same way. I just don't have experience with them, and that's because those mag pouches use these tiny little freaking annoying 3/4 inch buckles. So it's the same ones that are on the GP pouches, and I will show you, because they do the exact same way with the GP pouches they do the mag pouches. Is the female is on the top and the male is on the bottom. So what you run into, and none of this is, let me back that up so you can see it better. The female's on the top, the male's on the bottom, and none of it's contained, right? Like it's just loose. So when you go to access the mag pouch and you finally find this little bitty clip with gloves on, or you're stressed, or it's 110 and your hands are swelled up from salt and everything else, when you finally find that little bitty freaking clip and unclip it, you have to like grab the female buckle in order to go, or hook your fingers up under the lid to access it. And it's the most annoying and frustrating thing in the world. I will tell that to anyone who's ever asked me, I've told it to, and anyone who's asked me on here that's watching this, you will know I have told you the 5.56 mag pouches are just fine except for the buckle. The buckle absolutely sucks. I wish that they would go to the Canteen Pouch style, which is the male is on the lid. And this is a bigger and beefier. It's a 1-inch buckle. It's bigger and beefier. I can actually grab that whole thing and rip it up versus the little bitty female. And it's contained, so when it comes down, I only have to deal with one. The female buckle is contained on the pouch, and I can snap that back in there versus trying to fish them together and pinch them. And it's an absolute exercise in frustration. So I try and regulate that to pouches that I'm not going to access super often, like the double GP. The butt pack has the exact same ones. It's a little bit more manageable on the butt pack because of how they are, but still it's the same buckle. It's the same annoyance. That is the one gripe and the one reason I went with the Canteen Pouches for mags instead of the 5.56 mag pouches. I do not want to go down that route again. The only real option would be to try and hobble on some bigger buckles and change the straps around. There's some guys I know that are trying to do that, but I'm not that handy. I didn't really want to mess with it. So with that being said, Velocity Systems, if you are watching this and you care at all, fix that. If you fix that, I think you've got like a 100% bomb-proof, awesome product. And I would say go ahead and do that to the GP pouches too and the butt pack. Like just fix your friggin' buckles. I don't know why you did it, but it drives me absolutely insane. And anyone I ever talk to says the exact same thing after they get to using it. When you first get it, you're like, hey, it's not that big of a deal, and it's doable, but it's just the biggest exercise and frustration you've ever dealt with in your life. Okay, back to the video. Instead of the rant. The butt pack has a big cavernous lid pocket. It's the full size of the lid, just like an Alice style pack lid. Outside of that, there's no other internal organization. It does have a rain skirt that's not cinched down, or it doesn't have a cinch to it, so it's just loose. That kind of gets annoying. I always just kind of rolled it up and stuffed it over the top, put the lid over it, but I don't use the butt pack anymore. I wish that they would stabilize it more. So when the butt pack ends up being used, if you look, so second gripe, butt pack, the harness attachment point, there's like an 1.5 to 2 inch difference between where the top of the belt is, where that molly is, and the attachment point. What that ends up doing is the butt pack has no structure to it. It's just all nylon. So it will sag down like that, and it just gets really annoying trying to deal with. It makes the harness ride weird. I've yet to be able to find a way to really dial in the harness like I can with the GP pouches, because they attach super close to the belt itself. It's a whole lot easier to tailor that to my body, as well as with the ruck, because it kind of leaves a gap, which is nice for airflow if you really needed it, because it's an open back harness, you don't really need it. But when you start putting a ruck over the top of it and it's sitting on that like a shelf, like with the GP pouches or other belt kit, it tends to pull your body back if you're not careful. So I just didn't really care for it. I may go back to trying it again in the future. There's some stuff in the works with some other people to try and do a better butt pack that I'm kind of working with. So we'll see. I may go back to a butt pack, but until then I'm still using the GP pouches. It's just kind of my happy place. I'll sacrifice some of the load carriage capability for just a better overall feel and system. So with that out of the way, we'll go ahead and go with an overview of what's on the belt. Starting at the front for the buckle, I use the, I'm trying to get all this film for y'all, not bad. I use everything Velocity Systems belt-wise. It's the inner belt that you purchase. This is the Velocity's Operator Gen 2 belt. It's the exact same thing as the Jungle belt. They don't offer the Jungle belt like as a standalone deal. You just purchase the Operator belt because it's the same thing. This is the version 2. The only difference between the version 2 and the version 1 is there's a little bit of really fine hook material right here, so you can attach it to like an inner belt or something like that. I did that in case for some reason I just ended up hating belt kit life in the future, which I don't ever see happening. and I wanted to make it into just a regular battle belt, I could attach that to like an inner belt or a daily carry inner belt that had loop Velcro on the outside of it. Tourniquet pouches. So I use the T3 Tactical or T3 Systems tourniquet pouches. These are a fully enclosed tourniquet pouch. So if you look, there's nothing exposed. One Velcro, two Velcro, raise the flap up, there's your cat tourniquet. The reason I do that is because I hate the idea of anything that's life-saving being exposed to mud and everything else. For me, in my area, if it's not wet and muddy, it's really dry and dirty and nasty and brambly and briar filled. So what I typically run into is if I'm low crawling or anything like that, I get a ton of mud and everything else in the front of the kit. So using exposed mag pouches, just like the elastic sleeve type pouches for the tourniquet, I'd get mud and crap like that on them. Or briars themselves would actually wrap a hold of the top of the cat tourniquet and pull them out of the pouch. I've had cats end up in briar patches behind me as I was going through the woods and have to go back and get them because briars and stuff had pulled them out of there. I was using some just flap style tourniquet pouches for a bit, and that helps with the briars, but it doesn't keep mud and stuff out of there. So this is a completely sealed unit. I love these. It took forever to find what I was needing for, and a buddy in the Longhouse Discord server actually suggested these to me, and they've been awesome. So that's shameless plug. Go join the Longhouse Discord if you can. It's got links to the hitthewoodline.org that we're collaborating on as far as the website goes and everything else. But go ahead and join that. It's a good source. There's a good bit of tomfoolery on there. If you can get past that, there's a lot of good information though. Moving past that, I use, like I said, the Canteen Pouches. The Canteen Pouches hold 5 mags each. So that's 5.56 P mags. I use, as you can see, a starter mag in each of these with a Ranger plate. The reason being is I can grab that out because the pouch is really tight with 5 and it's loose with 4. It doesn't fit 5 or 4 super great. I pull the starter mag. At that point, I can then access the rest of the mags easily. I've got bungee around the outside of it to compress on the pouch. As I'm pulling mags out, it's going to compress the pouch a little bit more and keep them from falling out. I also keep the Velcro. All of these pouches, except for the butt pack, have a Velcro backup. I keep this open as opposed to silencing it with material. That way, if I grab a mag or whatever and I have to flap that down in a hurry and I don't have time to clip it, the Velcro will grab it and kind of keep the lid down until I can get it clipped. I do that on both sides. That's an old SOG LRP type trick. They would do that with Canteen Pouches during the Vietnam era, because they would do a 30 rounder in the center if they could get a hold of them. And the way the Canteen Pouches were, they were actually open in the top for the spout of the canteen, and the 30 rounder would sit in the top. They pull the 30 rounder, then they'd have 20s to back it up. So it actually works out really well, and I'm glad I found, it took me a little bit to find a solution to that because I was kind of heartbroken that I couldn't fit mags the way I wanted to in it, but it works out great. So behind that on both sides, I've got a Tactical Tailor smoke pouch. Tactical Tailor, great company. If you haven't ever dealt with them, do so. I've got this. I've got an e-tool pouch and some other things from them. I've dealt with them before in the past. Always make great products. Enola Gay Mil-X smoke. I've done a video on that in the past. I can't get frags because I'm a civvy. If I could, I would, and I'd have frags in the front, smokes in the back, because frags are more important. Until things get weird and I can access frags, I've got smoke up there. So that's the same on both sides. One thing I want to point out, because people will ask, having it on that, because of how this belt wraps your body, I don't know if you can see this, it kind of tucks into that gap between the Canteen Pouches. And when you do that, it kind of keeps it a little bit more streamlined. It's not a snag hazard. I haven't had that bump or snag or grab or anything like that. It's been working out great. So on the right side, which is my main access canteen pouch, if I'm drinking water, it's going to be, if I have a ruck on, I'm going to be drinking from the ruck. I've got a 3-liter bladder on there that I can refill with a 2-quart canteen, collapsible if I need to. If I'm away from the ruck, I've got canteens. I've used 2 quarts in the past on one side or both sides, just playing with that. It's just a little bit more weight than I'd like, and it doesn't balance as well. So I went back to the regular 1-quart canteens. So this is a GI, USGI mill surplus plastic canteen. I've got aqua tabs electric taped to the lid. That way I can pre-filter if I need to. If I don't have time to actually use my filter, I can pre-filter with my clothing or whatever, fill it up, throw a couple aqua tabs in there, and put it back in here to purify as we go down the road. I've got them half full right now because I'm testing the theory of, you know, the sloshing canteens being a problem. So far in my experience, if I'm moving quietly or stealthily, it's not an issue because I'm moving slowly, I'm taking my time, I don't really get that big slosh effect. If I'm running, yes, there's some slosh to it, but if I'm running, I'm making a heck of a lot of noise running through the woods anyways, or jumping or anything like that. And chances are the situation around me is dictating a whole lot more freaking noise than this sloshing canteen's going. So right now it's not really that big of an issue. I'm going to keep playing with it, we'll see. But I do like having a 1 quart on both sides, that way it balances the belt a little bit more. This pouch is silenced, like I said, with this is actually, if you're someone like me and you end up with a ton of freaking patches and everything else that people send you and crap that you buy, if you've got any of these, this is actually from Mayflower. Mayflower sent me a bunch of patches with some stuff that I bought at one point. I just slapped it over, it completely covers it. It's the backer to the patch itself, and that one's silent. So if I have to access it with if I don't have my ruck and I'm having a drink from my canteen, this one's my quiet one, this one's my loud one. This is a stainless steel bottle from Pathfinder Survival, or Pathfinder School of Self-Reliance, or however you want it is, Dave Canterbury's place. And then on the inside of that, if I can fish it out of here, is the Canteen Cup that goes with it. This gives me the ability to cook if I need to with an Esbit stove that I have, or I can also heat this up if it's winter. I can heat this up next to some fire or pour hot water into it, stuff it in my sleeping sack, and it's kind of like a hot water bladder inside my sleep bag. I learned that from Redbeard Tactical. I never would have thought about that. Awesome dudes. They're good. I would definitely recommend anyone going and checking them out. So I keep a stainless steel bottle on me. I can boil water to purify if I need to. I can heat it up to put in my sleeping bag if I need to. And it stays with me as opposed to in the ruck. It doesn't eat up any more space. It's only a tiny bit heavier than the plastic 1 quart. I've got the cup that I can cook food in. I can boil water for coffee or dehydrated rations or anything like that if I need to. So that stays in there. Closing that, moving on. Let's see here. Okay, so over here is my field knife. A lot of people get jammed up as far as knives go, and they want like a fighting dagger stuck somewhere because they need to stab a sentry. Realistically, you're going to need your knife. If you don't have an axe or a hatchet or a saw or something like that, you're going to need a knife to do field craft work. That's processing wood, that's clearing brush, that's doing things like that. You're a lot better off with a field knife, something like this Gerber Prodigy or Strong Arm or whatever this is. A friend gifted me this, and it's been great ever since. I want to take a bastard file and knock off that glass breaking point, because all it does is aggravate me to no end. But I can do field tasks with this. I can cut rope. I can process wood. I can do whatever I need. I can skin game if I need to. I can do all that with this knife, versus like a stiletto dagger that is only really good for one thing. It's a whole lot easier to stab a sentry in the neck with a Swiss Army knife than it is to process wood with a dagger. So just keep that in mind. And I keep that secured on the belt. It tucks in on the one molly column that's left between these 2 pouches. So into the back are the 2 GP pouches. So like I said, they create a nice shelf for the ruck to sit on, and it's a little bit wider than the butt pack. I don't know if you said it's a couple inches wider, but it's not as thick when it's all full. Even because these pouches are full, it's probably about 1 inch narrower into your body than the butt pack is when it's full, and that just creates a little bit less bulk, and it doesn't do that pull on me because it's attached to it's attached really close to the belt, as opposed to that little standoff that really kind of torques your back in the back. So on this side, a silence pouch, because it's my NVG pouch. If I'm having to access this, it's either getting dark, or getting light, and I want to try and keep the noise down if possible. I've got a single 14 in a old surplus NVG insert for a canteen, or for a canteen pouch. I've got a Cry nightcap. These are okay, they're not great. Everyone told me, hey, they're not great, and I agree. It's a stopgap solution for if I don't have a helmet on to run my NVGs, like if I'm just out with a boonie or something like that, or a ball cap, and I need to run my NVGs. It gives me a solution, and I'll also keep my Wilcox mount in there with it. And then that's empty. Each GP pouch has a sleeve, like a little organizer sleeve, in the very front of the pouch and in the very back of the pouch. The front one is a little bit smaller than the back one in my experience. So you can do some internal organization with that. I used to keep batteries and stuff in there, but I keep them all in my field kit, and I'll kind of talk about that in a second. So that's everything in that GP pouch. This GP pouch They all have these snow rain skirts on them. I use them. A lot of people, you can tuck them in there if you don't want to use them. You don't have to use them. It's just extra security from rain and loss and stuff like that, especially if you're not using the Velcro to back it up. So the first thing I get to is my filled pouch. It's a waterproof Ziploc bag. It's got hot hands, a couple candles, some 550 cord, electric tape, some stuff for cleaning and maintaining lenses on my optics. It's got batteries. It's got some spare cam cream in there. Let's see here, what else has got in there? It's got a little bit of everything, anything you'd really need for the field. Redbird Tactical, again, I'm not just trying to plug them because I'm associated with them or anything, because I'm not, but they do have a really good website for them, as well as Instagram page where they talk about this. I've gotten a lot of ideas from them. I've picked and chose what worked for me. The field kit, the survival kit, all that has been based off of them. So that's my field kit. Next are some snivel gear, warming layers type things. That's some wool Nomex glove liners, because I typically use Nomex gloves in the field. I'm picking up some Petzl Cordex because we're going to be doing some rappelling and stuff like that in the future with my group. Hopefully, it's a skill set that I want to have, and you need something better than Nomex for rappelling. And a Fall Raven, or Vijal Raven, Fall Raven's how I call it because I'm a hick, wool watch cap. So that stays in there. Boo-boo kit, moleskin, band-aids, stuff like that. Anything to deal with cuts, scrapes, abrasions, stuff with my feet is all right in there. I keep a IFAK on in my right thigh pocket. That's SOP for our group. So that's where my IFAK is. This is just a boo-boo kit to supplement if I'm away from my ruck. I have a full-size medical kit in my ruck as well. Spare pair of socks, waterproofed in a Ziploc bag. Let's see here, field stripped MRE. Going forward, I'm going to do it the way Blakewater on Instagram showed with the pouch and all that. I just kind of took everything and electric taped it together that I wanted to keep, and that works. But I like having the little sealed unit like he does. And then another thing of cam cream. This is black and green. The one in the kit is light green and loam. That's what I keep in my smock as well because it works really good. Like 3 of the 4 seasons here in the summer, if I'm in the super deep dark woods and greens here in the Ozark jungle, like I call it, the black and green jungle paint works really well. And then in the very front organizer of it, I've got a little protein bar for on the move food, some Pedialyte and liquid IV for the canteens if I need electrolytes or water additives, a couple little things of instant coffee, and let's see here, Pepto-Bismol tabs and some antidiarrheals in case things get a little watery. In the very back of that, I've got a fire steel, and as soon as it comes in, I'll have a little Esbit stove with some Esbit tabs in there to supplement my alcohol stove in case I'm away from my ruck and need to cook something or anything like that, or if I just need to heat myself because it's a survival situation. So that's pretty much everything that's in there. Overall thoughts, I love the belt kit. I've talked about it to everyone who will stop and listen. If you're in the market for belt kit and you need belt kit and you're not in the British military because they do things differently, the Brit stuff is good. It's just a different philosophy in the way they do things. This works really well for me. I've tried Brit kit in the past. I'll try it again in the future, I'm sure, just to see. But this is kind of like a middle ground for me between Alice kit and the British PLCE type kit as far as the pouches, how they lay, and what I carry on my body. But if you need belt kit or you're interested in wanting it, I fully endorse the Jungle Kit. I've already talked about the only negatives I have with it are those pouches. A lot of people get jammed up about the fact that the harness attaches to the pouches instead of the belt. What that actually does is, if you've ever seen someone or used a battle belt that's kind of weighed down instead of running it super light and slick, you'll have that roll that happens. Even with suspenders, you'll have that roll because all of the weight's on the belt from the harness as opposed to the pouches. The pouches are the heavy part, so that's what you attach your harness to, and that keeps it a whole lot more free moving. It keeps the weight distributed better, and it keeps the belt from rolling. It's super smart the way they did it. The harness, I've got no complaints there, except for I wish they would put there's loop Velcro on the inside of the harness for the shoulder pad. There's nothing on the inside of the shoulder pad. The reason for that is so you can remove the shoulder pad if you need to. And it's not super padded. It's the right amount of padding in my opinion. But I wish that they would put some hook Velcro or something on the inside of that. I'll probably end up sewing some on or just sticking some to the inside of it. because what this will do, if you're not careful, it'll slide around on you, or it'll bunch up or something like that, and it just kind of gets a little annoying. It's easily worked with, but it's one of the things to consider. If I'm just completely nitpicking the system, that's one of my nitpicks. Outside of that, I love the material. Super hydrophobic, so it's super great as far as humidity, rain, snow, stuff like that. I've had zero stitching issues with this one. I did, if you go back into the archive of the Instagram page with the multicam one, I had one GP pouch that the sewing had like blown out on the very edge. I don't know how it happened. I didn't remember seeing it when I set the kit up because I looked stuff over pretty hard. I don't know if my ruck rubbed on it or what. I posted about it, and I sent an email to Velsyst and like, hey, this is what's going on. Do I need to buy another one? Do I need to send it in for repair? What do you want me to do? I've got to have something different in case this lid tries to come off. And they sent me a new one, free of charge. It was as simple as, hey, give us your address, we'll get you another one out. Took 2 or 3 weeks. I actually ended up not using it. I kept the one that was frayed on there because I wanted to see if it would fall off or fall apart, and it never did. It actually, I think it's still on the belt that I sold to my buddy, or it's on the ruck that I sold to someone because I was using it as a GP pouch on there. But I mean, I never had an issue with it, and Velsyst Systems, being the company that they are, they made it right away. So none of this was given to me. This was all bought by myself. I saved up for it. Everyone kind of balks at the price, but then they'll have like 5 plate carriers and 3 chest rigs, and 3 gun belts and 7 rifles sitting there. This is it. This is my one and done for me. I use the belt kit for everything. The only other thing I have is like that Minuteman bag for the soldier gear that I use for just light little around the house type stuff, or in the truck or something like that if I'm just toting the rifle and needing some ammo and some sustainment stuff with that. Can you do CQB with it? Yes. Is it best for it? No. Can you do vehicle stuff with it? Yes. Is it best for it? No. I've got an article on hitthewoodline.org where I talk about belt kit and kind of the pros and cons in that regard. But for me, it fills the niche that I need. It does everything I need it to do. If I'm doing CQB, things have gone horribly wrong and I'm probably screwed anyways. If I'm doing vehicles, I'll hop in the truck bed and go that way like a technical. I don't know. But I don't use vehicles a lot. I'm very foot mobile, and I don't do CQB really outside of like in my underwear with a spare mag, because that's realities of a homeowner. So for me, it just is what it is. It's got 2 thumbs up for me. If we're going to do a grading scale, it's got 2 thumbs up. It's a 9 out of 10. Piecing it together like this, it's a 10 out of 10. Outside of those little bitty little quirks like with the shoulder straps and stuff like that, or the buckles. If you were to buy it as a kit, or if you've got the kit sitting there that's 5.56 or 7.62 mag pouches, it's probably a 9 out of 10 for me, because those buckles just absolutely freaking suck. And if they will ever fix that, it's 100% 10 out of 10 across the board. One little note, because I'm looking at it right now, the inner belt has columns sewn into it. They're bar tacked. They're not MOLLE, but you can run MOLLE pouches on it. I've done that in the past where I snaked it through. The outer belt has got each individual MOLLE column is sewn independent from the belt, so you can actually snake the belt over 1 or 2 or 3 if you need to attach something to it. I've done that in the past, so that is a possibility. And it's got the large for large. It's got the same columns as far as the belt outer and inner goes. They've got all that marked on their website now. That used to be kind of this big questionable thing of what goes where and how many columns and how many does it take and stuff like that. But they actually talk about that now, I'm sure, because myself and 1,000 other people asked them questions. So anyways, guys, that's it. I'm going to pack all this stuff up and put it away. I'm trying to go take care of my kids because it's about time. I hope you liked it. If you did, let me know. Give me feedback on YouTube. Go check out hitthewoodline.org. Check out, that's our website that we're doing. It's a forum-based, article-based website. We put articles up all the time. This will be linked on there, as well as a brief little description on it if I need to. I plan on doing some more with rucks in the future. I've just about got my Crossfire Mark 7 dialed in. I'll do a loadout of that and a description and review of those. Find me on Discord, the Longhouse Discord. I'm wanting to say it's called something else now. I can't even tell you what it's called now. But if you hit up Longhouse Preparedness on Instagram, I'm sure they'll get you a Discord link. I think he posted it the other day. Discord nuked all of the pro partisan accounts the other day, and we've been kind of building back ever since. Check out our podcast. There's the Longhouse Preparedness podcast, Marauders Camp of the Beyond, mine, which is the Culpepper Chronicles. Check out our website. Myself, Pine and Buddy from Longhouse Preparedness are on there. Marauder from his podcast is on there. Operator, who's posting to YouTube now because he, just like me, hates Instagram. He's on there. Go check it out. Create an account. Interact with us on the forum. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see. There's going to be a big push to the website going forward because if you own the domain, it's hard for anyone to censor you. And that's something we're seeing with the current state of social media. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Take it easy. Let me know what you think.